Okay.
What's good, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Unparalleled Sports Talk with your Kwame Fisher Jones. As always, I'm him, and I'm joined by my man Smoke Freezy, aka Damon Furby. We're gonna jump right into it, Dame. So we got some
Yeah.
some interesting games this week. The big game for me, the game I'm gonna be watching is Baltimore and Pittsburgh. The line right now has the
Hmm.
Steelers as a 3.5 point dog. Division games are tough.
Okay.
I don't know if Pittsburgh was rolling last week after a big win, late win. Russell Wilson threw a beautiful pass on a late blitz against the Commanders. Just, I don't want to say
What do you
still.
think about the Commanders, though? I'm thinking they're a little bit overrated at that point because they were saying they were unbeaten at that point. And
Last week.
watching
Well,
Daniels last night, I wasn't very impressed last night. Let's just say that.
I think the Steelers are one of the best defenses in the NFL. Schematically, they're well
Fair.
coached, and mentally, they're a
Fair.
tough team. Russell Wilson is a veteran quarterback. So when you add those two things together, and Russell Wilson's from that area, there's a little added motivation there. I'm not surprised. And it was a late game. The Commanders have lost 3 games. The Eagles won, and I want to say the Bucks in week 1. So the Eagles were one loss, and the Bucks were another loss. But the other 2 games were close games. Chicago, it was a close game. They
Yeah.
pulled that game
Yeah,
out, but it was still a close
yeah.
game that went the direction for him. And then he had the other game against the Steelers, which went the opposite direction. So I think the Commanders are a solid team. But what I'm talking about specifically is the Steelers. I don't know if I would touch that game on either side. It's a divisional game. It's 2 tough opponents. Pittsburgh has had some very season defining wins. The Ravens seem to be headed on a collision course with the Chiefs. Allegedly, that's what it looks like right now. I wouldn't touch
Mhm.
that. So that's a game that I would avoid. What's a game that you're looking at though this week?
I'm looking at the Lions minus 13 over the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think they have nothing. They have zero run game, and the Detroit Lions have a great run defense, and they're just going to do what they do. Minus 13 points is a whole lot of points. I agree, but at the end of the day, you got to be able to put up points, and I don't have faith in Trevor Lawrence or the Jacksonville offense at the end of the day at Detroit
Well, I don't
playing
think
against
Trevor
their
Lawrence is
defense.
playing, is it? I don't know if Trevor Lawrence is playing. Isn't Mac Jones playing?
I couldn't tell you that, to be honest
Yeah,
with you, bro.
I'm almost certain Trevor Lawrence
But
is out and Mac Jones is playing. I think though with Jags,
if Mac Jones doesn't really scare nobody.
yeah, no, he doesn't at all. And
That,
I wouldn't
and
touch
that's
the
probably
Jags.
why the line is at that point right there, 13.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I wouldn't touch the Jags at all in any, plus or for or against. It's
Okay.
they're a struggling team right now. And with struggling teams, you don't know when this may be the one week they decide to throw some haymakers. So I wouldn't touch the Jags.
No,
Let
this is
me let
this is
me
when
let
they
me
pile on.
let me get your feedback though. So this is a line. It's a nowhere game. It's but it's a game that intrigues me. Cleveland getting a point against the New Orleans Saints. I don't think Cleveland is in
Mm.
position to be a favorite against anybody.
Where is that?
And that particular
Fair.
game I want to say is in New
Where-
Orleans. I don't
Uh,
think yeah, it's in New Orleans. I don't think Cleveland should be favored against anybody, especially on the road. I
true,
don't think Cleveland
true.
should be
I
favored
agree.
against anybody, especially with a backup quarterback that eats his fingers. I don't think Cleveland should be favored against anybody, especially when you're going back
Who's the
to the
backup
team that
quarterback?
Jameis Winston.
Oh heck no, man.
Jameis Winston is the quarterback for the Cleveland Browns.
Shaky.
Uh, Last year they caught lightning in a bottle with Joe Flacco, who's now playing in Indianapolis. Yeah, while New Orleans has struggled, they made some changes. They're firing some people. They're still better than the Browns. And Stefanski has managed to dodge them bullets and not get called out for being a bad coach. But how many quarterbacks you need?
Stefanski.
It's Deshaun Watson is the issue, or it's Baker. Maybe it's always somebody else is the issue when the consistent issue is you. So yeah,
Right.
I'm gonna take the Saints. The cover, well, the cover would be win. I like the Saints
Well,
to
in
win
New
that.
Orleans, well, who's their quarterback? Carr? Is he hurt?
I believe it's Derek Carr. I believe it's Derek Carr. I think he just got back from injury. I'm gonna double check that. But yeah, Derek Carr appears to be back from injury. No way, no how am I taking. To be honest with you, Jason Tatum, Tatum Hill, Tatum Price, Tatum. What's that guy's name? The guy that was in the male stripper movie.
Tanner Tatum.
Tanner could be the quarterback. Matter. It's the Cleveland Browns. Cleveland is going from Cleveland to New Orleans. I like New Orleans in that spot. I like New Orleans in that spot. Give me another game that you got.
Let's go with the Kansas City Chiefs at the Buffalo Bills. They're undefeated, the Kansas City Chiefs, and I think they're one. They're +1 actually to the Bills at home.
So they're the underdog.
Yeah,
Yeah, I would
in
go.
Buffalo.
I'm actually I watched a lot of Chief games this year,
They've
and
been
I
close.
am Andy Reid. You know, I'm Andy Reid's biggest fan. Well, go ahead. What were you going to say about that game?
I was going to say it's close, and I want to hate the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't like them just because I'm
Right.
a hater, naturally. So, and I'm a hater on Josh Allen as well. So I'm gonna go with the Buffalo Bills there. If I had to choose, I would hate to put money on it, but Buffalo Bills, the underdog at home.
I feel like this is the Bills'
No,
Super
they're
Bowl.
they're the favorite. They're -1. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I feel like this is the Bills' Super Bowl, but I'm not betting against Pat Mahomes, man. Period. He
I
beat.
get it, but it's a regular season game though. So I mean,
It doesn't matter, man. I'm not going up against Patrick Mahomes, so I'm gonna take. I wasn't gonna take that game, but I'll go with it. I'm gonna go with the Chiefs to win that game. So I got two upsets this week. I got the
okay,
Saints and the Chiefs. Man, I
okay,
had a good week
okay.
last week, but this week we'll see. I got the Saints and the Chiefs. I like
So I'm trying to figure out where the 5-star lock is this week though,
I'm gonna give you a 5-star lot. Well, I think you got the first
because
one,
I
but I
thought it
just
was the
wouldn't touch the
Eagles though.
Jags. I wouldn't touch the Jags, but I'll give you a 5-star lock. I think the Jags was probably a 5-star lock, but I'll give you a 5-star lock. The Colts at a 3.5 point dog to the New York Jets. You know how people say
Mm,
that's a sinking ship? The Jets ship has sunk. Like they're done. They're over with. Put a fork in them. They're done. It's a
mhm.
rizzy. Aaron Rodgers has already. I mean, he didn't. I don't think. I think he used a rickshaw instead of a U-Haul truck. But either way, he's done. He's out. He's out of there.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Time out. What did you say? A rickshaw?
A rickshaw.
A
That's
rickshaw?
that's one
Could
of
you
those things
explain?
that somebody wheels you in like Bangladesh or Bangkok, and they
Oh,
put
I
you
see
in a
what you
wagon
mean. Like,
before, and
yeah,
they
yeah.
pull you around
There
like that.
was. I
That's
like
what.
the reference. I gotta say, I don't know I think I know what it is, but I like it. I'm
But
sorry,
yeah, I feel like the
getting off
Jets are
track
out
a
of here.
little bit.
Yeah, I feel like the Jets are out of here, buddy. So that's just 5-star lock. The Jets are just playing a string out, man. Adding DeAndre, adding Devontae Adams. I wanted to say from Green Bay, but actually from Las Vegas. That didn't make a hill of beans difference. It was like, and now you fire solid. They've made more. When you make changes this late in the game, it shows that you never had confidence in the moves you made beforehand. And
Yeah,
so Joe
yeah.
Douglas
I mean,
was Joe Douglas is probably next to get clipped. The owner is probably going to go take a role in President Trump's cabinet. So
Rogers. What's Rogers doing though?
Rodgers about to into the set. He's out of here. There he is. He's out of here. He's
He was
gone.
supposed to come to the New York Jetsons get busy, and they was
Those are
going
the
to
same
do. I
guys that tell
think,
you Russell Westbrook sucks. The same guys that he said he was going to get busy. The same guys that said Russell Wilson sucks. So and Russell Westbrook sucks in the NBA. Bottom line was Rodgers was washed when he was in Green Bay. He was washed in the Jets. It's over with the Jets. Retread quarterbacks rarely work. Pittsburgh is
true.
having a little bit of success early on, but traditionally, outside of Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, and maybe Jeff Hostetler, retread quarterbacks rarely work. And I wouldn't consider Goff a retread. He hadn't hit his prime yet. And I wouldn't consider the Rams quarterback a retread, Matthew Stafford. A retread are guys that have that are out of their peak or slightly declining. And Aaron Rodgers was well out of
Okay.
his peak. Russell Wilson
Right.
was well out
I
of his
got
peak.
you.
So yeah, I don't like that at all. What's your
How
third
long
game?
has Russell Wilson been in the league for?
Russell Wilson's been in the league for well over a decade. Russell Wilson's been over the league for well over a decade. Same with Aaron Rodgers. What's your third lineup? Third game you got?
Let's take a look at the Rams versus the Patriots. The Rams
Ooh,
are -4.
the Rams versus the
Eh,
Patriots. What makes just out of curiosity, what made you go with that game?
because I kind of like the Rams, and I know they're going all the way to New England, and I'm thinking that New England stinks. So that's something I would look into taking a -4 on the road.
Okay. Yeah,
I know that's kind of out of the box with that pick right there, and it's just kind of the ones that's like I'm thinking there's value there. I'm thinking I'm wrong all the time, but who knows?
you're wrong all the time, brother.
All the time. So if you
Well,
really want to bet, go the other way that I'm choosing from, and you'll do
that's not.
just fine.
I'm sitting here right now and I'm looking up the weather for my next pick because I'm almost certain that this is gonna be a debacle for the opposing team. But I would say you said that's the Rams going to the Patriots.
Yes,
What's the line on it?
-4, -4. The
The
Rams
Rams
are
are
-4.
Rams are favorite.
Yes.
I actually would like New England to cover that. I would take New England in the points.
See, I've been thinking like I don't know. I haven't really seen New England, but from the last I seen them, they was really terrible. So I was like,
But
all
they
right,
they
so
compete. You don't walk over them. They compete. They haven't been blown out all year. They've been in almost every game. I mean, they haven't been like they've been in striking distance, but they have there's no 30-point blowouts. It's
you
yeah,
don't think
I
you
would
don't
take
think
New
they
England
can
in the
get them by
points.
four +4?
Say again?
You don't think they can get them by 4? The
No,
Rams.
no. I
Yeah,
think if
yeah.
they do, I think it's a field goal, a late field
I'm gonna
goal.
look at that one. Like we'll come back to that one and we'll see what happens.
Well, the game that a game I was just looking at, and this is what I was doing when you were talking, is the Falcons and the Broncos. The Falcons just went down. That's why I'm glad I brought it up. It started out 3.5. The Falcons were a 3.5 dog going
Okay.
to Denver, going to Denver
Denver.
at a 4 o'clock start.
Okay.
It's going to be 33 degrees.
Mm.
The Falcons are a dome team. Going to Denver
Mm.
in November, it's going to be
But
33 degrees.
Kirk Cousins is gritty.
Yeah, he's real gritty. He's real good. I like Kirk Cousins. I like Kirk Cousins. Kirk
He's
Cousins is a good
gritty.
quarterback. He's a good quarterback. I like that. I like Denver to cover that. I like Denver to cover that. I like Denver to cover that. That's a tough, tough, tough spot for a Southern Dome team this close
Is it
to
gonna
the
be snowing?
holidays that just got their doors blown off. The Falcons just lost to, I want to say, the Bucks last week. I need to double check that. I should have prepped that beforehand. But yeah,
Yeah.
I definitely. I mean, what do you don't 3 and 2.5? That's not tough
Well,
at home. You can
the other game I wanted to talk about was the Eagles, but
Well, we can get to that
that
in a second. But going back to the Denver game, that game is
okay.
2.5 in Denver. Denver just lost last week.
Yes, to
They
the
didn't,
Chiefs.
it was a good game. It wasn't a bad game. Who did Denver lose to last night? Denver lost last week. Denver
Chiefs.
lost to the Chiefs
The
by
Chiefs.
2. You know,
They blocked the
meanwhile,
extra
yeah,
point
meanwhile
or
the
the field
Saints
goal.
lost to the Falcons. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying they lost by a field goal. They blocked it.
Yeah, the Chiefs beat the Broncos by 2, and the Saints lost to the Falcons by 3. So I wanted to say they got the doors blown off, but they didn't. They lost to the Saints by 3. So now they got to hop on a flight and go to Denver. I like Denver in that game. I like Denver a lot. And I really don't care for Bo Nix or Sean Payton. but I like Denver a
Me
lot. I like
neither.
what Denver brings to the table in this particular game. And being on the road will really hurt Atlanta. The Saints are a dome team. I
You're
want to
going
say they
up in
won
that
five the last.
altitude.
Go ahead.
You're going up in altitude, you know.
Yeah, you're going up and out in altitude. It's a tough hill to climb for an Atlanta team that's 6-4 right now. And if you
Yeah,
remember, I said Atlanta would have a hard time winning 9 games.
you
I
did
said they
say.
would have a hard time winning 9 games. Right now, they sit at 6-4. They lose this puppy, they're 6-5. The Eagles gave them a bunny. Nevertheless, they gave them a bunny. They got the win, but they got a bunny. So looking back at that Eagles game, this team if they lose to Denver 6-5,
Could be
they could
the
realistically be 5-6.
right.
So 6-5, they still got the Commanders on their schedule. They got, like I said, they're going to have a hard time winning 9 games. I did not pick them to win. I thought I said around 7-8. So it wasn't too far off 9, but I didn't see them at going 9. What's the last game you got that you want to talk about?
Well, I wanted to talk about the Eagles game because that was my 5-star lock.
Mm-hmm.
Coming in, I kind of felt that they was gonna take their over, but I think it was the over was like 47.5. I'm not sure what the over was, but I knew that the Eagles was gonna win like -3.5 or 4. It was 4, I think it was. So I'll shout out to the Eagles because I believe the Eagles this year it may get serious because I don't see any other team in the NFC besides the Detroit Lions
I don't
that
buy the truth.
could give them a run. I mean, Detroit defense is nice.
Buy Detroit.
So,
I see the Eagles flag over your head, so it's tough for you to make it unbiased opinion
uh,
about the
uh,
Eagles.
uh, oh, did you see that? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No,
Yeah, I
not
did
that.
see that. Yeah, I did see that.
Not that I trust.
You know the
Not that I
biggest thing that helped the Eagles beat the Commanders? The Dallas
Let's hear.
Cowgirls. The Dallas Cowgirls laying
Let's
down Sunday allowed the Eagles to pretty much rest their players and get ready for a tough game on Thursday. And then Saquon
right,
Barkley's 2 touchdowns kind of sealed the
right.
deal. But it was a physical divisional game. So for them to get those
Defensively,
two and get 10 days off, yeah, Philly's lined up pretty good, man. Philly's lined up pretty
yeah,
nice.
that's looking strong. And defensively, they're really good. Quinion Mitchell is a beast.
Young man is coming along.
But
Yeah,
I heard that this is the first time we got a true lockdown corner.
well, we're
Like,
not calling him a lock. We're not calling the young brother a lockdown corner. He had a couple good games. Let's
wait a
keep it
minute,
going.
wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. Terry McLaurin yesterday had nothing. He had nothing, right?
Bro,
And think of all the games this year, all of the guys that they play against, he's locking them down. All of them.
let's get away
Mike
from that.
Jones,
Let's get away from that, man. Let's not call this dude a lockdown corner. Let's hope he has another good game the next time they take the field. That's it. No
of
more.
course, but I mean, all I'm saying is for at the moment, he's really balling.
I'm not touching that, man. I don't want to say he's a lockdown
He's
corner.
balling.
I've lived through the days of Eric Allen, who should be in the Hall of Fame. Prior to Eric Allen, where we had Wes Hopkins, who was a safety. Ben Smith tore up his knee in Cleveland. Oh boy, I'm trying to think of
Yeah.
cornerbacks that.
Mark McMillan,
Mark Miniature McMillan was a good cornerback. Then you had Bobby Taylor. Troy Vincent was the
no
big
more
signing
Bobby
out of
Taylor,
Jersey from the Miami
Troy
Dolphins.
Vincent,
You
yeah.
had Sheldon Brown and Lito
Shout
Shepard.
shout out to Burlington,
I'm still not
Lito
ready to put
Shepard.
him in that pantheon of great cornerbacks. I
Come
think
on, Jones. I mean, I
nah,
get it.
he needs
He's
to see. I
new.
need to see
He's
more.
new. Okay, we're gonna see
Yeah,
more,
but see, here's the
but
thing, man.
right
This is the
now,
NFL, bro. You could be hot for 5 weeks and then get toasted for 2. You know what I mean?
well,
You get
my thing is, as long as he stays healthy, he's good. He'll be all right.
listen. I like to.
Only
I
thing
wish
he
they had
needs to
gone
do is
after a
start making
pass.
some picks.
Go ahead.
I just
I
want to
wish
see him start making some interceptions.
I wish they had gone after a pass rusher during the trade deadline. That would have maybe Max Crosby. There were whispers about Max Crosby. That's the best. That's the best attribute to a cornerback is a pass rusher. So we'll see how that goes. I'm just let's put away the anointing oil. That's all I'm saying. Because Deron Bland was supposed
I
to be
think you want to
nice.
slow go. You want to go
Trayvon
slow
Diggs was
go, but
supposed to
I
be
get it.
nice. Let's put away the anointing oil, man. And let's just see what they do. There's so many guys that were supposed to be nice in the NFL that who was a cornerback from Carolina that went to Washington. Josh,
Oh,
I
Sydney.
forget it. No, not Sydney. There was a cornerback that started out in Carolina, supposed to be really nice, and then he goes to then he goes to Washington. I remember D'Angelo Hall left Atlanta and goes to Washington, and he stroked like, dude, cornerbacks, you got to just give them a. You just
Nambi
give
Asamoah.
no Namdi Asawa came from Oakland, bro.
No, I know. I'm just saying he's a cornerback that came over. Didn't
Yeah,
do so
like
good with the first.
my point is you got to just play it out, man. You got to play the string out and see how it works. I like the young man, but the best part about it, or what I like most about him, is he's quiet. You don't hear anything about him. You don't hear anything about him on game day unless he's getting beat, and you don't hear about him anything outside of game day. And to me, that's the best attribute for a young player: is you're quiet, you come down, you put your head down, and you get to work. What's the next game you got for
Fair.
me?
Well, that was all the games I had. I had the
Okay,
Eagles, the Chiefs, the Buffalo Bills, the Rams, Patriots, and the Lions and over the Jaguars.
all right. So
Minus
those are
13.
so that's your recap, and I believe I got the Saints, the Broncos, and what was my third? What was my other pick? The Saints, the Broncos, and the Jets getting murdered. Whoever they're playing,
Right,
but the Colts, the Jets, and the
right.
Broncos. Yeah.
Is
And
Joe Flacco playing?
yeah, 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 he's going to be a starting quarterback.
Joe
And
Flacco is like 90 years old at this point, right?
he could be 190. He's got enough in the tank to beat the Jets at this time. At this point, the Jets, dude, they're done, man. They don't want to. They don't want to play no more. They don't want. They don't want to play no more. They're done. They're done.
I want
They're,
to
they're
turn
like
on the Jets. I hope they're done. I hope they're down
I
like
didn't turn
50
on them. I
points.
never liked them to begin with. I felt like it was much
No,
to do
no.
about
I
nothing.
said when I turn on the game, they better not be. They better be down 50 points because
I
you're
hope
telling
so,
me
because
they're
if not,
done.
I
They're
I can't
done.
survive. Well, my record this week or this season, I'm not mush anymore, but I'm not even 500. So it's no sweat off my hide.
Well, 500 is a tough place to be at
Yeah.
betting these games, bro.
There's no sweat off my hide.
Most
But
people
that's it for
don't.
this episode of Unparalleled Sports Talk. If you like the podcast, make sure you share, subscribe, comment, whatever your podcast platform allows you to do. He is Damon Fairby, aka Smoke Freezy. I'm Kwame Fisher Jones. Until next week, we appreciate your time and year. You be easy.